Hello and welcome to the EMC Live special session, the 2015 EMC Product of the Year announcement, the Pat and Ken Show. My name is Belinda, and I'm editor of Interference Technology, the creator of EMC Live. Over the past few weeks, EMC Live attendees have voted for the 2015 EMC Product of the Year. Companies were given the opportunity to submit their best products, and now we will see who came out on top. Our technical duo will review the innovations on display this year and announce the winners as chosen by you. This session is presented by Ken Wyatt and Pat Andre. Ken is senior member of the IEEE and a longtime member of the EMC Society. He's currently an independent consultant with Wyatt Technical Services. Pat has worked in the EMC field for over 30 years. He is president of Andre Consulting Incorporated. Pat and Ken are authors of the EMI Troubleshooting Cookbook for product designers, a one-stop guide that will help engineers and technicians who have products which fail to meet EMC regulatory standards. It provides recipes of simple, easily implemented, and inexpensive troubleshooting tools or aids that can be built by the engineer or the technician. You can find their product on Amazon.com. This webinar will be interactive. You will be able to ask questions, and we encourage you to participate. Take a look at your GoToWebinar navigation pane, the box on the right-hand corner of your screen. If at any time you have a question, we ask you to fill out the type box and hit send. To make the screen minimize and maximize, click the arrow button. To raise your hand to ask a question or report an issue, click the hand icon. We will discuss the Product of the Year entries for 45 minutes, followed by the announcement of the winners. Now Pat and Ken will discuss the entries.
Thank you. I trust we have the screen up correctly here.
Looks good to hear in Colorado, Pat.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
All right. Well, we have a bunch of products submitted for the contest, so we better start going through them. So first up is Rohde & Schwarz ESR EMI receiver. And this is a fairly new product. Can go from 10 hertz to 26.5 gigahertz. It also complies fully with CISPR 16. And I think the thing that really stands out to me on this one is the FFT-based time domain scan. That's it's kind of a new technology recently. And not only that, but it'll do real-time signal capture and analysis as an option, and at up to 40 megahertz bandwidth. So, Pat, why don't you take the next one there?
Next, we have the Keysight software. This is the N6141A. It's a missions software with built-in commercial and mil standard compliant bandwidths, and this is a great piece of software because it's designed to work with the X series signal analyzers from Keysight. It generates reports in HTML. You can view graphs over time to identify intermittent responses. It collects lists of suspect missions, continuously monitors signals with bar meters or detect maximum amplitudes. It's a wonderful piece of software. I'm really excited to see this come out for Keysight.
And next up we have ETS Lindgren's EMF field or EM field generator. I don't know, Pat. To me, this looks like a death ray.
Exactly.
You put it in your chamber. What this does is it'll generate a up to a 10 volt per meter field at a 3 meter test distance between 1 and 6 gigahertz, and it also has AM modulation capability. So in an all-in-one solution, you can mount this thing in your chamber and run a radiated immunity test. And it's compliant with the EN IEC 1000-4-3. And what's kind of unique about this is that it combines the amplifier, directional couplers, plus antenna into one single unit. So pretty cool.
Next, we have the Roden Schwartz BBL 200. This falls under the heading of "Don't tick me off, I will cook you where you stand." This is a 10 kilowatt broadband amplifier that works from 9 kilohertz to 225 megahertz. This is enormous. It's really designed for things like the automotive industry, where you need to radiate very large products, maybe your Airbus A380 or something of that nature. Amazing single rack amplifier to be able to do up to 10 kilowatts. That's really impressive.
And especially the fact that it's solid state. That's
exactly
amazing.
Yes.
Next up, we have Keysight's MXE EMI receiver. And you can get this in several models. They all start at 20 hertz, and the different models go to 3.6, 8.4, 26.5, or 44 gigahertz, depending on your needs. And it's compatible with CISPR or mil standard test requirements. Has built-in quasi-peak EMI average or RMS average detectors, and lots of diagnostic tools built in. So this is their latest EMI receiver, and built on their standard spectrum analyzer frame.
Excellent. TestSec has come out with a arbitrary waveform generator specifically designed for doing automotive testing. This is the ARB 5500. It's a 19-inch rack mount signal generator capable of up to 8 synced arbitrary channels with 64K segments. It does have 16-bit resolution, 10 mega samples per second, and works from DC to 500 kilohertz. It again is a wonderful device for automotive testing, and a pretty exciting product.
Here's another piece of gear for the automotive industry, and you know, there's more and more demand for these kind of this kind of gear, especially for the electric cars coming. So the EM Tests VDS 200Q is a battery supply simulator and DC voltage source. And so what this does, it can either source or sync current using programmed voltage in both positive and negative polarities. So it'll simulate and generate dips, drops, short interruptions, and voltage variations to simulate a whole range of different phenomena occurring on vehicle wiring harnesses. So, and you can work this from a Windows PC. And there's a bunch of pre-programmed test routines that help you simulate all these different kinds of waveforms. So the test standards that it simulates is the ISO 7637-2 and 16750-2. So again, this is primarily for the automotive manufacturers.
We have the Ariana, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Spectran RF View. What this is a series of essentially small antennas that go into analyzers, and you can create a grid of emission measurements over an area. It works from the frequency range of 1 hertz up to 9.4 gigahertz, so a huge frequency range. Each of these paddles has a built-in preamplifier and can do analysis in millisecond time frames. You can output in a variety of units: dBm, dB above a microvolt per meter, amps per meter, and so forth and so on. Accuracy, they claim to be plus or minus 1 dB, so very precise type measurements. Very interesting product, and I'm interested to see more about this in the future.
Yeah, and these their spectrum analyzer modules are let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. They're 3,000 euros, so it's pretty low cost, but you do need a wide a bunch of them to create the matrix.
Pixel. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting concept.
Yeah.
Next up is a power amplifier from mPower, their model SKU 2170. And so this is a broadband power amplifier that, let's see, I don't see the frequency range. Anyway, what strikes me, oh, here it is, 1 to 3 gigahertz. What strikes me is that this operates using the gallium nitride devices. These are fairly new technology that was developed in the last few years, and it's known for its very fast switching speeds. So this should be an interesting power amplifier. So again, it's all solid state, class AB, modular design, so upgradable. And it'll do CW, AM, FM, or pulse. Pulse being required for many military applications. And it also has some built-in control and monitoring and protection features. So interesting amplifier. One thing to note is all these amplifier companies are coming out with solid-state devices, equipment, and so that's kind of a new upcoming technology, especially to achieve 1 kilowatt levels.
Salig's got an offering of a series of near-field probes, which includes a preamplifier, and there's 2 different models of this. There's a 20 dB and a 40 dB version. The 20 dB version is about $330, $329. 40 dB, $389. The unique thing about this is that these probes are flat in response from 10 megahertz up to 3 gigahertz, and which makes them more valuable when doing troubleshooting type of troubleshooting problems where you need to know a little bit more precisely what the responses are going to be when trying to fix something on a circuit board or on a component. It'll give you a better response over frequency than in many other devices which have nonlinear type responses. A very cost-effective and powerful tool.
Yeah, I love it. So next up is something that more and more companies are going to need. You know, as more and more products get Wi-Fi and cellular wireless features added, one test you need to do is for specific absorption rate, and ART-Phi has developed this rather compact vector-based system that measures SAR, and rather than requiring huge chambers to test your devices, you can just stick that inside there. So it's a patented measurement technology that I've not seen this kind of thing before. This is new. So
the interesting thing about this one is it's said to be a fast SAR technology. So the response or the measurements are taken much faster than they are with normal SAR type measurements.
Right, and that's due to the probe array built inside, which can measure from 700 megahertz to 6 gigahertz. So that's the perfect range for all the wireless technology that we're using today.
Excellent. Berkeley Nucleonics, which I love their BNC initials, offers a real-time spectrum analyzer, which is extremely cost-effective. This particular analyzer starts at 100 kilohertz, and in 3 different models goes to 8, 18, or 27 gigahertz. The 8 gigahertz version is $4,000. The 27 gigahertz is $13,400. It comes with software for that connects to this module. That you're looking at the entire system right here. There's no large analyzers you need to lug around for doing 18 or 27 gigahertz type measurements. This is great for doing everything from Wi-Fi to cellular, telephone, or high frequency harmonics of transmitters if you have to get up in the high gigahertz type range.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Pat, once you've used real-time spectral analysis, you really don't want to go back. And I noticed this one the real-time bandwidth is 100 megahertz.
The value in that is if a transient does come through, it will capture it and display that result. It's different than a swept measurement where you're going from a low frequency to a higher frequency, and you're hoping that you're at the right frequency to capture the transient. This is extremely valuable when it comes to that type of measurement.
I've looked at other spectrum analyzers with real-time analysis, and you can actually see multiple Wi-Fi access points on the same channel, which is amazing. A swept analyzer would never be able to do that.
The first time I ever used a real-time spectrum analyzer was with my car key fob, and I keyed the key fob and saw it and all the transmit frequency and all the harmonics. I also found out my key fob was out of spec.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, next up is EMC Partners IMU Slave Smart. This is a current generator that provides CW from 2 kilohertz up to 150 kilohertz. Now, the thing with this is there's more and more what they call mains signaling, and this is considered, or could be considered, an interference source. And so main signaling is used for the smart grid power meters that we're starting to see on people's homes now. And it's a fairly low speed, low frequency technique. But this is a simulator that is going to be able to measure that and simulate CW and modulated disturbance sources. So this is something you would use to test your smart meters.
Salig has a handheld RF spectrum analyzer, Series 5 RF spectrum analyzer, which is also extremely cost-effective. They have it in 2 models, the 3605, which goes to 3.6 gigahertz. That's for $2,143. And they have a 6 gigahertz version for $2,522. This is a handheld, battery-operated, fully functional spectrum analyzer. This is perfect for field work, for going out in the world and troubleshooting, on-site type measurements. The world of portable spectrum analyzers is, as a friend of mine once said, they're actually becoming very useful now. So I'm really excited about this one as well.
Yep, fabulous product. So here is another real-time analyzer from Gauss Instruments. This one is kind of unique in that it's a mobile version designed for working in vehicles. And so this runs off 12 volts. It has an amazing gapless real-time bandwidth of 162 megahertz. That's very high for this kind of technology right now. It can also be used for pre-certification and EMC debugging, as well as maybe mobile location of interference sources. That's probably what I would use it for. And let's see, it has a frequency range of
9 kilohertz to
9
6
kilohertz to yeah. There's 3 different models, 1, 3, and 6 gigahertz. So that's a neat product.
I'm old enough to remember when the cost of signal generators was equivalent to the cost of my house. Not anymore. Now, and not only that, we now have these battery-operated things that are amazing. This one will work, again, Ariana's portable signal generator. This one comes in 2 models, a 35 megahertz to 4.4 gigahertz and a 23.5 megahertz to 6 gigahertz version. The lower frequency one's 500 euros, the higher frequency one's 700 euros. The output of this thing has about a 78-80 dB range. You can go from minus 60 dBm to plus 18 dBm. It has, like I say, a 4-hour battery life. It can run off of a 12-volt battery, like a car battery if need be. You can do AM, FM, and pulse modulations. Its frequency accuracy is plus or minus 1 hertz below 600 megahertz, plus or minus 20 hertz above that, which is remarkable. I mean, this is a wonderful stuff they've got out.
I don't know where they put the battery in that thing.
It's actually hidden in the guy's hand, I bet. You know, or maybe the hand is the battery or something. I don't know. That is just a remarkable product.
Pretty neat. Well, next up is another instrument from Gauss Instruments. Their TD EMI X. This is their tabletop unit. I was going to say base station because their other one was mobile. But anyway, so this is their big daddy of the real-time spectrum analyzers. This one has a 325 megahertz real-time bandwidth, and it will measure between 10 hertz and 40 gigahertz. Pretty amazing. So this is their next generation. I saw their first one introduced several years ago, and it was really my first introduction to real-time spectral analysis, and pretty impressive. But this one has all the measurement and analysis functions built in, as well as an oscilloscope feature. So that's kind of a new wrinkle.
Noisecon has a space magnetic field visualization system, is what they call this, the EPS-02E. It's a magnetic field sensor system that will work from 10 hertz to 400 kilohertz. It measures in 3 orthogonal axes, X, Y, Z, simultaneously, rated magnetic flux density of 2 Tesla. It is capable of sensitivities down to 2 microteslas. It can measure exposures, percentage magnetic field flux densities in Tesla. It has a signal processor which uses a 600 megahertz Roden-Schwarz oscilloscope with it, which has a 10 gigasample per second capability, and that's seen there off on the right. That's part of that system. The control software is also part of that system. Wonderful magnetic field mapping system. I've not seen something like this before.
Yeah, that's new. Okay, next thing up is NoiseKen's what they call the thin plate broadband antenna. You're probably wondering what in the world that is used for. And the automobile manufacturers, of course, are very concerned with RF immunity to their systems, as we should all be. And this will broadcast or transmit a signal in the mobile phone frequency bands. There's three main bands between 700 megahertz and 3.2 gigahertz. And so what you do is scan this antenna around to see if you can disrupt any of the onboard systems. And now this is unique in that it will transmit on all three mobile phone bands without having to change antennas. I was just at a client's where we had to change. We were doing this kind of testing for a product, and they had to change to 3 different antennas for their testing. And so I could see where just a single antenna would really speed up the testing for this kind of evaluation.
Personally, I could see using this for troubleshooting techniques when I have a client who has a susceptibility problem somewhere in that 700 to 3.2, 700 megahertz to 3.2 gigahertz range. I can now have a device that can transmit in a very localized area, maybe find a sensitive circuit or something of that nature.
That's right, and you can pump up to 30 watts into that thing for some pretty good volts per meter. E-field strength.
Okay, let's see if I can get myself advanced here. There we are. EMC Partners has a single standalone device that's capable of doing essentially all conducted commercial immunity type tests. This is capable of doing, it has an ESD output for up to 16 kV ESD testing. It has an EFT burst output of up to 5 kV, surge up to 4 kV. It can do common mode testing to IEC 61000-4-6, differential mode to 61000-4-9. It can do DC and AC dips. This is an amazing little device for doing very complete conducted immunity type tests.
And it's modular and upgradable, which is kind of nice too, because as the standards changed, you won't have to keep buying new gear.
Excellent.
Okay, next up is kind of a neat little ESD injection probe from Langer EMV technique. So the purpose of this probe is to inject a controlled amount of current into the pins of various ICs. And as you're all aware, I'm sure ICs normally have some level of ESD protection. But this is using this tool, you can verify that. And the pulse frequency can vary up from 0.1 to 10 hertz with a 0.7 or 60 nanosecond rise time. And the voltage is 9 kV. And so this will simulate in a more controlled way ESD, and you can actually test individual circuits or pins on ICs with it.
This is actually comes in two different versions too, the Dash 2 and just the normal 331. The 331 actually is the machine model, I believe, and the Dash 2 is a human body model. And I've seen this used on ICs where they will touch the various pins of ICs and test each one. And that's kind of what this thing's designed for, is doing machine body or machine or body model testing on very small areas.
I guess the pulse voltage is variable from 0.1 volt to 9 kV, so it's
right.
not just 9 kV.
Langer also has a series of near-field probes. Two of these are magnetic field, and one of them is an electric field. The magnetic field probes, one is an area-type probe, small area, capable of doing a millitesla into a very small area. The second one is actually a clip-on probe, so if you need to clip onto a wire or something of that nature, you can magnetically couple into that wire. And then both of them, like I say, it's about 1 millitesla of field strength. The clip-on probe is both magnetic probes are capable of 2 nanosecond to 8 nanosecond type rise times, single pulse or 5 kilohertz frequencies. So those are wonderful. Then you have an electric field probe capable of localized up to 100 kV per meter. Like I said, it's extremely localized.
Wow.
These are battery-operated devices, handheld battery-operated devices. And you can see on the, I don't know if my arrow shows up here, that it's designed to generate that field right there at the tip. So that's kind of the concept, is for doing board work where you can do testing in a very localized area.
So AR has developed this rather unique radiated immunity system. What caught my eye was that it is designed to test up to 10 frequencies at once. So potentially reducing your test time by that factor. And the number of test frequencies can be varied, of course. So if anybody has done this kind of testing, you know that it can take several hours to do a thorough test on radiated immunity, depending on the step size. And this multi-star, multi-tone tester, model MT06000, is an attempt to decrease that test time that just can take hours normally, and reduce that way down. Now this one is designed to test from 80 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, so that covers just about all the needs I can think of, except maybe for certain military applications. But this all-in-one box system, this is probably all you need for the radiated immunity. And let's see, does it say the volts per meter that it's good for?
Well, it probably depends on the antenna being used, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. Okay. Anyway, kind of a new technique.
And not to be outdone, Amplifier Research has come up with something that if you're ET and you do need to phone home, this may be something that you might find useful. It's a 16 kilowatt RF amplifier. This works from 10 kilohertz to 225 megahertz. Again, designed for automotive use, aerospace type use. If you need to blanket your Navy ship with 10 volts per meter, I'm sure you could probably do it with something like this. It's huge. This thing this can't be, I mean, you have to know what you're doing in order to use this thing. Otherwise, I'm sure that's not very safe. But what an amazing piece of equipment.
It's all solid state.
Solid state. Good heavens. Well, that wraps up our equipment part. Now we get into the components. Ken.
All right. Worth Electronics has developed some multi-layer surface mount ferrites that are specially designed to maintain their impedance 55% higher than the rated current load. And so this is ideal for pulse type applications such as switch mode power supplies, where you're driving large peak currents. And they offer ultra low DC series resistance, current rating up to 10.5 amps, and commercial temperature range. So pretty impressive. Again, designed for DC to DC converters and other switch mode or switching applications. Schroeder's low leakage current three-phase filter is designed for applications where you have as high as 180 amps of rated current through this thing. I mean, this is some huge amounts of currents this thing is allowed to take. And the leakage current are very, very low. I believe they state somewhere below 30 milliamps for a three-phase, 200-way three-phase, or 520 three-phase type system. So very, very carefully controlled capacitance to chassis. This could be very useful in things like Navy applications, where you do have to control how much leakage current is being used, or where safety is an issue, and UL type devices need to minimize how much leakage current is being produced. Next up is Nextech in their model HPR 300. This is a it's a feed-through filter, and it's primarily designed for lightning protection or high current DC filters. Let's see, it'll handle up to 300 amps at 100, 200, 500, or 1,000 volt devices, and AC voltage is up to 250. Pretty compact unit for 300 amp current. Bolts in, and it's designed for super high reliability against shock and vibration, and does come with an O-ring seal, so should work fine in military applications. And the capacitance range is from 0.01 to 10 microfarads, depending on the device you select. But 300 amps, that's a lot of current, and again, primarily designed for lightning protection or other high current filter applications. Mesach has a series of EMI and RFI shields designed for ICs. This is actually a two-piece design. It's not open like this typically. There is a cover that fits on the top of that. So it creates a hermetically sealed shield over the top of an IC. They do carry this in an engineering kit so that you can have a number of these that you can try on various types of ICs or areas of a circuit board, solder this thing down, creating a localized shield. I guess what's interesting about this is there's no gaps like the type of shields that have the row of pins. Ah, yes. Forth. So there's no way for it to leak out the bottom, and that can be an issue at the higher frequencies. Ah. Next up is a surge protector from Nextech. Their model QWSNFNF0500. We need to talk to their marketing folks. Anyway, just joking. So this is an N-type coaxial lightning protector, and designed for feed lines in antenna systems primarily. It's a surge protector. Ultra wide band, 5.2 to 18 gigahertz, and mainly lightning arrestor applications, but also will handle any kind of ESD I can think of you can throw at it, as well as electromagnetic pulse. So transient protection up to 60,000 amps. That's impressive.
Good for standard lightning type surges. So
yeah,
that's
so
what
it's
this
mainly used for the microwave C-band, X, and KU band applications. Very low at VSWR, and there you go.
Again, a series of our EMI RFI shields from Mesech. These are their standards, standard sizes, and the other ones were custom sizes. So again, they solder down, as Ken was saying, without use of fingers. They're able to create a complete seal, and kind of the same thing we were talking about a little earlier there.
Yeah, except I think these are all standard sizes. So
right.
If you can't use a standard one, they'll make you a custom one.
Yep.
Okay, I had to kind of look at this for a few minutes to. This is a custom connector. So Meritech, they call this their Houdini connector, and so what they managed to do is take a connector designed for their medical applications and use it to solve an application for the military. And so the unique thing about this connector is that it's waterproof. I think for up to 30 minutes in 1 meter of water. So I think that's their claim to fame there. Basically designed for harsh environments in the battlefield. So I guess you could use this for certain medical devices too.
Well, this also has a conductive rubber, and they claim up to 45 dB of attenuation from 100 megahertz to 1.5 gig. So you not only have some environmental protection, but you have EMI protection in this as well.
That's pretty unique.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we had over 1,800 votes, and as a result of that, the winners are, in third place, we actually had a tie. We had the Worth Electronics peak current rated multi-layer SMD ferrites, and we had that Amplifier Research 16 kilowatt
amplifier.
Yes, that what an amazing piece of equipment that is. Second, Ken?
Well, second place is Aronia's new portable generator, RF generator, with built-in battery that goes up to either 4.4 or 6 gigahertz and fits in your hand. Amazing. And
the winner is the Keysight EMI receiver, 20 hertz to 44 gigahertz. That is one amazing piece of equipment, and got most votes. It is our winner of our votes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Pat and Ken. Thanks for going over everything with us. Congratulations to the winners. If anybody has any comments or concerns, they can write us, info@interferencetechnology.com. A recording of this session will be available on our website, emclive2015.com. We will also send a link to all participants shortly. Thank you for attending.